Your information station, WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by folks like People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Patrick McHugh. He is the Chief Operating Officer with Pana Community Hospital. Good morning to you, Patrick. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Thanks for having me.
And you are very welcome and glad to have you here today because I'm going to be learning a little bit and listeners are going to be learning a little bit about more that is going on with the Pana Community Hospital. And some of those things are some remodels that are happening with your emergency room and apparently a med-surg unit, which is new to me. So I'm excited to learn a little bit more about it. But what can you tell me about the main goals of the project and what you're hoping to accomplish?
Absolutely. So earlier this year, we embarked on a facility renovation project. So our main goal is to make spaces that we take care of patients in more comfortable for them. One of those spaces in the emergency department is a behavioral health room. We wanted to make it as safe and comfortable as possible for those who are in some sort of crisis. And then, as you mentioned, on the second floor, so that's our inpatient room area where we have both inpatients who are needing acute care, but also that houses our swing bed program, which is more of a post-illness or post-injury unit where we help people get better and get back home. So really the main goals of those projects are to make them more comfortable for our patients and kind of enhance the services that we're able to provide.
Okay. And Patrick, with that being the case, how do we plan to improve some of the comfortability for the patients? You know, improve beds? Is it just more space? What are some of those things that some of the details that you might be able to share with us?
Sure. So on our inpatient unit, that second floor, we're adding what's called a rehab room, which is going to focus on getting people a little bit closer to going home. There's going to be basically a full-size kitchen where they can practice some things like cooking, getting around the kitchen, making sure that they're able to get back home safely. We'll have a washer and dryer in there where they can practice some of the things that they were doing at home before getting there. Lots of physical therapy, occupational therapy equipment that can help them build up strength. And then a full-size residential bathroom is going to be included so that they can practice things like bathing and taking care of themselves in a setting that's a lot closer to home. And get them ready to make that transition from hospital to their house or wherever they're going after.
And they're doing
emergency.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, and they're doing so in a place that, you know, people are still there to help them, but obviously it's with the goal in mind of them being able to help themselves. But I apologize. Did not mean to cut you off there.
Yeah, you're just fine. Absolutely. So we've got a really great team of trained therapists that work with our swing bed patients, help them get a lot stronger, sometimes even stronger than they were before they entered the hospital initially. They can be monitored in a setting that's a lot closer to their setting at home and make sure that they're able to do all the tasks that they need to take care of themselves. We don't want anybody going out that's not safe or ready to do that.
So those additions being that swing bed program, the therapy room, and then also kind of making that home environment so that you are that much more ready to take that next step. When is the plan for this remodel to potentially be completed, and when could patients even start to utilize it?
Yeah, definitely. So we've got a very busy and a very active swing bed program as it is today. So this will be kind of an enhancement. We've got patients already using a lot of the facilities, but this room will be available probably in June is when we will have all of our final checks and everything done so that we can start using that in its entirety.
So we're moving pretty quickly then.
We are, yes. It's busy time and a lot of construction around here.
I can imagine, but an exciting time, I'm sure, for you as well. What do you think in terms of that additional offering to patients that it will bring to also just your people as well and your staff, the improvements that are made? I know that the patients obviously are what you're thinking about first, but on the staff side of things, what do you see that being for them as well?
Definitely. It adds a lot of staff satisfaction to give them an environment where they can take the best care of their patients.
Mm-hmm.
As you can imagine, people who go into healthcare are really passionate about their work and making patients better. So having an environment where they can really practice to their full scope is really exciting. It's going to give them new opportunities to do new things with their patients and really work hard to make our hospital really well known for this program.
And another way that it looks like you're planning on being able to do so is as an updated nurses station. So now we're showing commitment to the patients, but also to our staff and our nursing units as well. The updated nurses station, how will these improvements help out with the workflow and the patient care? And what can you tell me there?
Definitely. We're really excited about that. So obviously, being in a comfortable environment for our healthcare staff is really important. We've got staff, not just nurses, but all sorts of clinical staff in the organization who work really hard to take care of our patients. And so we want to give them a space that's going to allow them to be as effective as possible. We're doing a major renovation in that nurses station, adding a closed medication room where nurses can really focus on the job at hand. So you can imagine when they're getting medications ready, drawing up medications, having a safe, quiet environment where they can really focus on the work that they're doing is important. We've added a physician office back in the nurses station so that our hospitalist physicians have a space that they can call their own while they're here and take care of their patients as well. And then we are completely remodeling the nurses station, adding additional space for not only our nurses, but our other clinical staff to be able to do their work, upgrading our technology, computers and monitors, things of that nature, so that our nurses can take care of patients and our clinical staff can take care of patients with the most up-to-date technology that we have.
Patrick, from this point of view, I guess a bird's eye view of it, it feels like you're showing that commitment to not only the healthcare and what they're able to provide, but the staff themselves as well and their commitment to it when it comes to actually being able to provide those services and do so in the best way possible for them. You mentioned also that medication room and having that closed off, being a little more quiet and focused, all of which I think are things that will really benefit their workflow and how they work moving forward. What have you heard from some of your staff in terms of the improvements that you will be making? Is there a whole lot of excitement surrounding some of these improvements?
Absolutely. So we made sure that our staff were involved in the decision making as we went through this process. We got ideas for them on what was going to make their work most efficient, what was going to bring them the most enjoyment in their work. So they were really part of this process. And they're really excited to see the finished work. It's important as a rural healthcare provider and a hospital. We want to be the place where people want to work. So taking their thoughts into mind and making sure that we're creating an environment that's going to allow them to be the best that they can be is really important to us.
Well, I really appreciate that too. And I was kind of hoping that that might be the case, because sometimes, if you hear it from the source and can implement it that way, sometimes you even get better results. And so I'm really happy to hear that staff and their ideas were also involved in this as well. Joining me now is Patrick McHugh, the Chief Operating Officer of the Pana Community Hospital. And we're talking about all the different improvements going on with Pana Hospital at this very moment. And another addition that is going on right now is a new sleep studies room that is being added. We're talking more dedicated spaces to more programs and more therapies, more different services that we're able to provide. And this is just another one of those. What can you tell me about that new sleep studies room?
Yeah, we're really excited about this part of the project as well. In the beginning of this year, in January, we started providing sleep studies to our community through Pana Community Hospital. We do both outpatient sleep studies where somebody can take a machine home, they get monitored, and that information goes back to their physician so that they can check for sleep disorders such as sleep apnea. And we also started offering in-house or in-room sleep studies as well, where the patients actually come to our hospital, have a room to themselves where they have a sleep study conducted. As it stands now, we use our inpatient rooms for that project or process. And so we really found that not only did that take away rooms from other patients that we could be using, it was not the quietest environment for a sleep study. As you can imagine, when you're having your sleep evaluated, a space that's quiet and your own is really important. So we decided that this was a project we were going to embark on.
Well, and I can fully agree, especially if you're surrounded by different hustle and bustle, and it can be a little harder to really gauge what the sleep and the quality of it is. And so, all great things going on with Pana Community Hospital right now. A new sleep studies room, remodel and update for the nurses station. We're also providing therapy rooms, improving the swing bed program. In the emergency room, med surge unit, so much going on with Pana Community Hospital, and really we have just scratched the surface with Patrick Mayhew. He is the chief operating officer at Pana Community Hospital. We'll be joined by Patrick in just one moment here on the WTIM Pana Morning Show when we come back on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM. WTIM.
And we're back with the WTIM Pana Morning Show here on your information station, brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, as well as Pizza Man, Norton's Hardware, your Pana Save-A-Lot, and Locked and Loaded Limited. My name is Grayson Bauman, and our guest in this segment is Patrick McHugh. He is the Chief Operating Officer at Pana Community Hospital. And we've been talking all about different additions and renovations going on at Pana Community Hospital, but there is more to get to. And one of those being an in-house hospice care room. I feel like that's another big step in the whole process. What can you tell me about this new in-house hospice care room?
Yeah, we're very excited to be able to offer this. So, Pana Community Hospital partners with Quad County Home Health and Hospice to take care of patients who are nearing the end of life. As you can imagine, that's a difficult time for patients, for family, and we just want to be a part of making sure that our patients and their family members can spend as much time together as possible. As we were doing this renovation to our second floor inpatient unit, we had the opportunity to combine two rooms to make one larger room where we can have a family area where they can stay with their loved one who's in those last moments of life and not feel like they have to be separated from them during that time. So we've created a quiet, comfortable, and relaxing space where family can really spend time together. And so we're really excited to be able to offer that as well.
I would say that impact probably speaks for itself as well. And I think there will be nothing but good things that come from that in the most difficult of times for families in that regard as well. Now that the new emergency department room is really kind of up and running and getting its start, there's something here that kind of piques my interest, we'll say. Mental health patients. Obviously, mental health is increased, the awareness around it and the understanding around it more. So why do you feel that addition was equally as necessary as some of the others?
Yeah, so really as a hospital, our main goal is to keep our patients safe. As we have patients that come in with crisis, sometimes they make decisions that they might not typically make. And so our goal with that room was to make a room that was as safe and as free from harm as possible. What we did was we added a actual electric door that comes up and down that covers some of the equipment that we have in there, makes it feel less like a hospital or an emergency department room, and kind of separates the patient from anything that could cause harm to them. We made sure that the room was safe all the way around. We've taken out anything that could cause harm to a patient and really made that as safe of a room as possible for those who are in crisis. And I think everybody can understand the impact of that, and we've just taken seriously our job to keep people safe.
Did that partly come from just the increase of mental health cases and patients, or was that something that you knew was trending in that direction, and you go, okay, let's get ahead of it, let's tackle that issue before it really becomes something that we're almost behind the eight ball on?
Yeah, definitely. Mental health issues have been around for a really long time, but I think more recently they've come to light a little bit more, and people are maybe a little bit more willing to recognize mental health issues. So with that, we over the past few years, we have seen an increase in those who need help kind of in an emergent manner. And so being able to offer this has been a really huge impact, not only on our staff, because they feel like they can take safer care of our patients, but also our community, knowing that they have somewhere to come if they are in crisis, where they can get excellent care and feel safe in the environment that they're in.
And it's a two-way benefit kind of as well, as you just mentioned there. For all of this that we've talked about, all of this remodel, all of these renovations that are going on, can you tell me how this kind of fits, kind of aligns with the general mission or the general thought that is going on with Pana Community Hospital, what you're committed to with patient care?
Sure. Pana Community Hospital has a mission to provide high level and very safe, high quality care to our community. And that's really what we see that we're here for. People have a lot of options when it comes to healthcare. They can go to larger cities with bigger organizations, but there's something really important about having your healthcare in your community and closer to home. As a hospital that has people from the community as the people who work here, we have a better idea of what the community wants and needs in their healthcare. And so our goal is to meet those needs and really be a place where people feel that they can come for their healthcare needs and not have to leave the area for it.
And I feel like it adds a bit of a more personalized touch to it as well. Familiar faces and people that know you and know what's going on with you. And I think that just speaks to the quality of that patient care as well. Well, Patrick, we have run out of time, but I sure appreciate you joining me here on the morning show today.
Well, thank you. I've enjoyed being here.
Well, thank you. And we'll come right back around with more of the WTIM Pana Morning Show today. We've been talking with Patrick McHugh. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Pana Community Hospital. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show brought to you by People's Bank and Trust and more. and we'll be back here on your information station.
Your information station. WTIM